Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of ReaperCast. We are moving back into Battle of Chaos again with a few new cards to talk about, so these are more so generic support I believe. I mean yes, some of them are going to be specific to certain archetypes, for example Cyverse, but is that really considered an archetype? Maybe it could form its own deck, but who knows. Either way, this is a bit more random in terms of what cards are actually being shown here. But nevertheless, it's definitely going to be very exciting to see what each of these cards can do. But before I get started, if you guys end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification, it really does help. Otherwise, dropping a like, commenting, or even sharing this video does a huge lot for this channel. But without further ado, let's begin. So we have over here 5 different cards, and then we'll talk about one other card later on. So the first card we have here is Mad Hacker. Based on the artwork, it's like a play on words with the Mad Hatter. But in this case, being that it's a hacker, it's a Cyverse card. So it's a level 2 Dark Cyverse effect monster of 1000 attack and 600 defense. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you could special summon this card from your hand. That's not bad, that's pretty nice. If anything, this is kind of a defensive card as well as an offensive card at the same time. Because the funny thing is this, let's say you chose to go second and you chose to actually kaiju your opponent's monsters, you could just special summon this out, which is definitely a really nifty move that you could actually perform. You could actually pull off quite a few shenanigans with this particular card here. I mean, think about Nibiru, think about the kaijus, think about Super Poly. Things that you could do on your opponent's turn, or even monsters that you could summon on your turn onto your opponent's board, is definitely going to be a great combo together with this card. However, as for the second effect, during the end phase you can banish this card from the field, take control of the monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack, your choice if tied, while that monster is face up on your field. Its effects cannot be activated. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for link monsters. I don't see that being a problem, but either way, this is definitely a fantastic card. I already have a few combos in mind. Think about this for a second. Let's say your opponent went first in a game, right? And they try to do something. You triggered off a Nibiru because they did their 5 summons. So you summon out Nibiru, you summon out the token of course, and since something was summoned out on your opponent's field, you could special summon this card from your hand. Now if I'm not mistaken, there is a card called Hop Ear Squadron that allows you to actually synchro summon during your opponent's main phase while it's in the hand. So what this means is, given that Mad Hacker is a level 2 and you have the Hop Ear Squadron in your hand, which is also a level 2, you could potentially go for a synchro summon, or rather an Excel synchro of a level 4 synchro during your opponent's turn on your very first turn. I think that's definitely an advantage there, but if you could do a few more things to manipulate the levels a bit higher, you might be able to do things turn 0. This is a very powerful card, and I think if anyone's willing to dig deep with the interactions of different cards with this particular card here, you could pull off a lot of amazing things, either through a Cyverse deck or generically. However, let's move on to the next card. We have Matatabi Senri, or Catnip Lihua, a level 2 wind beast effect monster of 0 attack and defense. You can only use this card's name effect once per turn. You contribute this card, then target one level 2 monster in the graveyard, accept itself, special summon it, then you could special summon one level 2 monster with a different attribute than that monster from your hand. It's a very generic card, could be used in many kinds of decks of course. Given that this is a wind deck or wind specific card, it would be used in decks that utilize wind. So perhaps Wind Witches, otherwise Gustos seem the most appropriate. Given this card's artwork, it does seem that way. However, next up we have here Proscription, a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Declare one card name. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with the same original card name as the declared card name. For the rest of this duel, you cannot activate cards or effects with the same original card name as the declared card name. I think that's a pretty powerful effect. I mean, this card could pretty much stop one entire card forever. So you could get rid of Nibiru, you could get rid of Ash, you could get rid of a lot of different cards you think is pesky against your opponent. This seems a bit too powerful. If anything, this card might be a Called by the Grave 2.0. It might be the answer to that actually, but I do see this card actually being hit by the ban list in the future. I mean, this card could easily just be a common card. I mean, think about this, Called by the Grave was a common card, so it's a possibility this card might be a common card as well, but don't underestimate it just because it's a common card. It's a really amazing card. I think it's on the level, if not higher than the level of Called by the Grave. You're essentially locking out an entire card from your opponent for the entire game. I mean, that's so powerful, and you could play 3 of these as well, so you could potentially lock out 3 different cards in your opponent's deck. So if you know what they're playing, just declare the right card name and you're gonna win the game. I wouldn't put it in that extreme sense, but even so, there are some people that could definitely take a lot of damage from this particular card. However, moving on, we have here Recklessness and Punishment, a normal trap card. If your life points is lower than your opponent's, activate one of these effects. You can either destroy one monster your opponent controls with attack equal to or lower than the life points difference, or you could special summon one monster from your graveyard with attack equal or lower than the life point difference. I don't think this is the most amazing. You really do have to think carefully on this one. But even so, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the worst card. It is a normal trap card, so you could use trap tricks to benefit off this and speed this up. And lastly, we have over here End of the Line, normal trap card. If your life points is less than 100, draw 2 cards. Then if your life points is lower than 10, draw 2 cards. That's not too bad. I mean, obviously that's pretty crazy. To draw 4 cards is going to be amazing, but to drop your life points that low, it's going to be pretty insane. Of course, to drop your life points to 100, or even to drop your life points to lower than 10, I would only think about one particular deck, and that would be the Winged Dragon of Ra. But I'm not even sure if you could drop it that low to below 10. I mean, this is definitely going to have to play into a huge combo here, so we're just going to have to see what happens. But to draw 4 cards, this card has a huge potential, because again, it's a normal trap card. You just use trap trick and you could definitely gain a huge advantage here. However, as I said earlier, there is one particular card I wanted to talk about, and that is Mutant Mutator. I'm surprised to see that mutants already are getting some new support again. Of course, it's only one card, but even so, it seems a bit recent. So this is a level 1 water psychic effect monster of 0 attack and defense. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, if you control a mutant card, you could special summon this card from your hand. It's a nice extender, but that's it for now. Second effect, you contribute this card, then banish one mutant card from your hand or deck, special summon one monster from your hand or deck based on the banished card, and if you do, you lose life points equal to that monster's original attack. I mean, that's not bad. Definitely great extension. Now, I'm not necessarily sure what the following text says. It says that there's Monster Mutant Beast, Spell Mutant Mist, and Trap Mutant Arsenal. I'm assuming that's maybe the newer cards that are actually meant to be coming out and not revealed yet, but I guess we'll have to find that until later on. But for now, these were the cards that were actually revealed for today. I think a lot of these cards are quite amazing. I mean, you could benefit quite a lot from all of these here. Mad Hacker is amazing for 0 turn plays. Proscription is basically a new version of Caught by the Grave. And End of the Line has such immense potential. However, those were the cards that just stood out to me, so definitely let me know what cards stood out to you. Otherwise, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a magnificent day. I'll see you all next time.